Hi Cancer, welcome to your week ahead horoscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Cancer, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. All right, before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you've got the Judgment card, right? This is a grand clearing of the decks for you, Cancer. This is a big deal. Why? Because this week we've got an eclipse, right? And anytime there's an eclipse, this is a big deal for you in some way, shape or form, because you're ruled by the moon, right? So this is a big deal for you because it's a lunar eclipse. Partial, yeah, it's an eclipse, okay? That being said, the Judgment card this week is really tapping you into this idea that you can resurrect yourself, right? So whether this is returning back to an aspect of self, whether this is bringing back an old belief structure or system, whether this is blowing up a belief structure that you have. I don't know why, but in my mind, I've got this image of something cracking open, and it's like you're now going to pull the power out of something. But in order to do so, something has to be destroyed, right? So this card actually has links to Pluto. And the way that I see Plutonian energy is it blows everything up so that the power that is stored there can be released, right? And so this week, don't be surprised if there is an ending or two. Don't be surprised if there is some sort of shock that echoes through your life in some way, shape or form. It really is revealing a deeper, and I want to say, yeah, probably a deeper but more authentic self, but it's also really tapping you into this idea that Cancer's not necessarily known for leading the pack, right? But this week, I feel like whatever takes place is going to show you where maybe you should be or where you're choosing to take a certain mantle upon yourself. So it's going to be a really interesting week. For your actions and options this week, you have the Two of Swords. Your psychic awareness is going to be through the roof. That being said, because you've got the Judgment card here, and this has links to our ancestors, links to our deep past, links to our familial ties, there's a few ways that this could show up. One, don't be surprised if some big family secret is revealed this week. And when it does, like, it might have you like hang the on what? I'm sorry, what? Do you know what I mean? This could be a real what the moment. That being said, another way that this could show up, and for those of you that aren't used to this kind of thing or haven't had this experience before, it can be really disconcerting the first time. You might have a visitation. I'm not talking about a dream about a loved one. I'm not talking about a feeling that they're in your presence. I'm talking about a full-on fucking manifestation, and you might find this week that your psychic awareness is so heightened, is so sort of expanded this week that you know, maybe you wake up out of your sleep and one of your grandparents is stood at the foot of your bed. Or, do you know what I mean? Like, it can be real. And this is why I say, when you see this stuff, especially if it's the first time, my whole body erupted in goosebumps and I shot about a foot in the air. Granted, I was 5, so do you know what I mean? Like, I'll cut myself some slack on that, but I tell you, when you have those moments, it can be really, really disconcerting and it can be really quite frightening. So I will say to you, if for those, it doesn't matter whether you're a man, woman, however you identify, what's important here is that some aspect of your heritage is likely to be very much revealed this week. And when it comes, it's going to come big, right? I've got goosebumps now just thinking about it. So really, really interesting. All right, for your communications and conversations, you have the Star card. Right underneath the Judgment card. Cancer, I'm going to say this to you, right? Consider this a week of convergence. There are going to be many things that... The reason I say this, the Judgment card is long periods of time. The Star card is long periods of time. Because you've got this Two of Swords here, this might be a vision that you had years ago that now suddenly comes to pass, or you have a moment where you're like, oh my gosh, this is deja vu to the extreme, or something that you've once said to somebody, or like this week, your past, your present and your future are all going to collide in some way, shape or form. I do not say this lightly. As many of you know, I have the moon in Cancer in my chart. Let's just say I'm paying attention right now. And the communications aspect of this week, some of the conversations that you're having are going to have far-reaching ripples. This could be an idea that you have. This could be something that you're working on behind the scenes that you're getting ready to bring out into the public eye. There's a chance that it will go bigger, further and wider than you could imagine at this moment in time. But there really is a sense that there's just this really mystical energy around these cards. There's something really, and I can't quite put my finger on it. And I think that's the way that they want it to be. But there's a convergence of energies and timelines here. Not a collapsing, a convergence. That's the really important. It's really important that you understand what I mean by this, because I'm not talking about other things going away. I'm talking about your past, your present and your future all starting to intersect this week. And I feel like there's a lot to do with this eclipse. So it's going to be an interesting week for sure. Expect a few revelations this week as well. For those of you that have children or young persons as part of your family, some of the conversations that you have with those young people could really be eye-opening this week. And it's really important that you approach these in very open, very honest, but also very caring and nurturing ways. You're Cancerians, so you will do anyway. Now, with that being said, for your for those of you that are employed by somebody else, this could be really great. This could be an idea or maybe some new modality or way of doing things is coming into the company and you're being asked to spearhead that. Maybe you're being asked for your input on something that you haven't really been privy to before. I like this for you. When it comes to your those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, whatever you're working on, it's for the digital sphere. There's something here where you are going to be presenting something to the world on the internet, out into the world, maybe creating a community of some sort, maybe creating, maybe working on a website for some of you. I will say, for those of you that are working on websites, it's about damn time. It looks like this is something that you've been working on or doing for a long time, and it's like, okay, I can't ignore it anymore. I'll finally get on with it. For those of you that are retired or no longer working, all eyes to the future. That is what this week is trying to show you. Something new is coming in for you, and it's important that you are on board. Sorry, the siren's going on outside. For your love and relations, you have the Two of Wands. And you've got this right underneath the Two of Swords. So, 2 twos represents a bond, an accord, a pact, a marriage, a contract of some sort. This is very nice, right? You've got the Two of Swords, which means your psychic awareness is very much to the fore this week. You've got the Two of Wands, which suggests that there are movements and changes in your relationships, your partnerships, your connections and your collaborations. You've got this off the back of the Star card, which suggests that this week there could be some new partnership, some relationship that shows up for you in some way, shape or form. This could be somebody that you meet on the internet. It could be somebody that you meet through a dating app or a dating website. I can hear a lot of you collectively groaning and sighing now, like, oh, I haven't done that stuff because it never works out for me. This could be the exception, right? It only takes once to get it right? It's kind of like pregnancy. You can fail 100,000 times. It only takes one of those little bad boys to get to where he's going, right? So there's very much this energy this week where relationships are really opening up for you, and in a way that's actually quite nice. Now, the Two of Wands also suggests that partnerships, relationships, so for those of you that are married, long-term commitment, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, etc., there's new money here, right? There's new money coming into the relationship, new money coming into the partnership. There's something here that really allows you or your collective financial pot to expand. I like this. I like this a lot. So yeah, good week for your money and materials specifically. You've got that 8 of Swords. So this is really interesting to me because I see expansion in the partner's money, at least, maybe not necessarily your own. What this also suggests is the money that's making its way into you this week, or the money that is coming in, maybe you don't have a chance to spend it, or maybe you don't have access to it for some reason. Especially because this is now underneath the Star card. This week, and it's interesting because this is the only sign that it's shown up for so far. And I wonder. This week, my dear Cancerians, take out a lump sum of cash. Call me crazy. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, and I'll be grateful for it. Take out a lump sum of cash this week so that you have access to money should anything go wrong with the digital sphere and money. All right, so maybe you can't access your account online. Maybe you aren't able to use your PayPal, or, you know, whatever else it is that you might use to pay for stuff. Have a solid chunk of cash hanging around this week so that you've got access to money regardless of what happens on the wider world stage. It just got really dark while I was talking about that. Interesting. For your physical health and vitality, this is going to be your hands, your arms, your fingers, like your upper extremities, and also part of your upper airways. I often say to people when these kinds of things show up, especially because you've got this above the Star card, your cardiovascular system is going to need to be strengthened from here on in, right? So if you're not already doing it, get on that cardio kick. I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice. Check in with somebody before you just go start, you know, running marathons. And then for your home and environment, maybe this week you're stuck home for some reason. I don't see anything bad happening to anybody, but it might just be that maybe you can't get out this week, or, you know, whatever's going on just means that it's not possible. And then for your eclipse message, for that eclipse on the 19th, you have of course you do, the Gate 51 and Shock. This is basically the Tower card. It always weirds me out. I'm gonna have to change that or move the picture, because whenever the Tower comes up and this is above it, I'm like actually gonna get clunked on the noggin with the picture. All jokes aside, this is basically the Tower card. It is going to be shocking. Remember, right at the beginning of the reading, before I even looked at this card, I said, there's going to be some sort of revelation this week. Something is being shared or divulged that may kind of have you go, okay, we're going in that direction. Didn't expect it. So it's going to be a very interesting week, and that lunar eclipse is going to be interesting as well. Now, I've totally forgotten to mention, but I will be doing a live with Heather from Astrology with Heather, so please come along, check it out. It's going to be amazing. She's bringing all of her astrological knowledge and wisdom, and I will be there reading cards for each sign to see how this eclipse is going to be affecting us, but more importantly, what it's kind of foretelling is going to be taking place over the course of the next 18 months, because this is the first one in Taurus that we're going to be having, and then as of next year we're going to be hit with these eclipses back and forth over the course of the year. All right, with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.